How's it going, everybody? My name's Eric, and in this video we're going to talk all about labels. Labels for the Brother QL1110 NWB. It takes a proprietary label design with this little spool plastic foot thing. I ordered 3 different types of labels off of Amazon. The cheapest I could find, a mid-grade one, and the OEM Brother. We're going to unbox them. I'm going to break down what the cost is per label. Then we're gonna run some tests to see how well they adhere to boxes and then to Polybag. And then we'll see which are the best and which suck, or if any of them suck, or if they're all good, or if Brother's ripping us off for OEM labels, or if the cheap ones are absolutely horrible. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing, and let's get into the label. My Brother OEM labels came in a poly bag. They didn't even come in a box. And as soon as I opened the bag, I could see that the box is absolutely crushed with the labels just like coming out of the bottom. Nothing on Brother, but it's kind of like Amazon's fault. These labels are the most expensive ones that you can get. I bought these off of Amazon for $33.99. It's 200 labels, and that breaks down to an enormous cost of 16.99 cents per label. It's like I'm printing money on these. That's crazy. As you can see, it has an ABS plastic spool. The spool already comes attached to the labels, and that is just what they look like. We'll set these guys to the side. Now we're going to go with our mid-tier labels, which these I ordered off of Amazon, but they did not come prime. They came like this. It was a USPS bubble pack inside of a USPS flat rate envelope. It took a couple more days for this to come than for the Amazon Prime to come, but the price was a lot better when it comes down to our breakdown of cost per labels. And it did come with a spool just broken down, and I'll show you guys how to put that together. But let's take a look at one of these rolls. Here's the Hydrapower DK 1241 labels. Once I open it up, for these labels, we're going to have to attach our spool. You take your roll, orient it like that, the arrow's pointing down. I'm gonna take the spool and the leg, spool it through like this. There's like a nub here that I have to line up with this hole, and it kind of lays flush. Then we're gonna push that through. Take this, you can see that there's like a notch, and then there's a notch in here, and you just line those up and push them together. If you didn't know, you wouldn't know. So these 4 rolls of 200 labels were actually cheaper than this one OEM Brother roll of labels. These 4 were $31.99. That comes out to 3.99 cents per label, making that 4 times cheaper, more than 4 times cheaper than the OEM Brother. But how will the quality hold up? Now that it's on the spool thing, you can see the pattern of the holes line up just like the Brother. There's a hole in the bottom left-hand corner and a hole kind of in the middle towards the upper. So that's OEM mid-grade. Now we're going to take a look at cheap. Cheap came in a huge pack of 12 rolls of 200. Also came Amazon Prime, but it's in a case that looks like it was prepped at a prep center using some tape that they probably shouldn't have used because it wasn't sent USPS priority mail, but they used USPS priority mail tape. And I have a ton of rolls. 1, 2, my foot things, 10, 11, 12. So 12 rolls of 200, so that's 2,400 labels, and the cost was $59.99, which only would have got us less than 2 rolls of the OEM. These come out to 2.49 cents per label, and we're gonna have to spool it. So we're gonna grab this, stick it through there, put the foot on, there they are. So to recap, 2.49 cents per label, cheapest labels I could find, 3.99 cents per label, the mid-tier that I could find, and the OEM at a whopping 16.99 cents per label. You're basically printing money at this point. So now comes our test prints. We're going to print all 3 labels. First, we're gonna load cheap into the printer. And let's print our sample label. I mean, it looks fine. And let's write cheap on it. Now we're gonna take the mid-grade, the mid-tier, drop it in and print our sample label. There we are. And the OEM, the real deal from Brother. This like really pains me actually. I'm gonna recycle the poly bag that they came in. Wow. I gotta hand it to Brother. They do make some nice labels. And I did notice as soon as that cheap label printed, there's like a smudge in the barcode. I think there was maybe some sort of trauma to the back of the label, which caused it not to seat right on the thermal print head. A little bit of a hiccup when it printed. It's still gonna scan, it's not a big deal, but it's just worth noting if we're doing this crazy of a test anyways.
A few moments later.
They all look like they're stuck down very well to the poly bag. No corners are peeling. And look at that, yeah, you see that adhesive? That one's not even coming off in one piece. The Brother, the mid-tier, same thing. That adhesive to Polybag is great. And then the cheap label adhesive to Polybag, I have a feeling will be, yeah, just the same, like it's on there, it's not coming off. So this is gonna be the unofficial jam test. We're gonna run 25 prints through the cheap spool and then the mid-tier spool. I'm not gonna run it through the Brother spool because those are the best labels you could buy for this printer. They're not going to jam. It's like literally it's already a waste of money. It would be a super waste of money if I were to print it with the Brother one, so I'm not gonna do that. But we're gonna do it with the cheap ones because those are gonna be the ones that are gonna jam, and the mid-grade ones because those would be the ones that are gonna jam also. Okay, so that's 25 labels. I wish I would not, nope, it's not even done yet. I thought it was not done. Sorry. It might be done now. Okay, 25 labels. I really should have not done the cut because that made it go a lot slower. So when we do the middle grade one, we're not gonna do the cut. No jams. Now this is the middle grade labels. We're gonna turn auto cut off and print 25 copies. Well, the middle cost. I've never like heard the fan kick on. I think that's 25 labels. I think we might have overheated it. Yeah, I think we overheated the printer because it stopped at 23 labels. 24 and then 25. That's crazy. I've never printed this to the amount to where we can overheat it and it pauses. That's interesting. So there we go. No jams, no jams, 25 labels. This is not an official test by any means, but it's something. I have heard from some high volume sellers that they've had problems doing, I don't know, a ton of labels with the cheap labels, that it has jammed, but I haven't had any personal experiences ever actually jamming with this printer. If you have used any of these labels and you've had jams or problems, please let me know about it in the comments, because that's the best way to let me know, let people know they're looking at these labels, a personal experience, like a real experience, and not some like fake Amazon reviews, because that's like really appreciated. So thank you guys. With some of those printed labels, I'm going to write middle on them. And then I'm gonna take 5 of the cheap labels and write cheap on them. Now I'm going to take all of these labels and place them on the box. And we're gonna leave the box overnight and see how the adhesion of the label to the cardboard holds up.
Tomorrow.
Here we are 24 hours later. This is what our label grid looks like. And you can see some corners peeling up right here on the middle priced label. The worst is over here. This one is completely peeling off. You would not want a customer to receive a package like this. That just looks unprofessional. Although it still might not get lost in transit, it just looks sloppy, and why go with that when you could go with that? So the cheap labels actually look all to be stuck, and the only ones that are peeling from like the corners, are the middle price labels. Of course, the Brother label is all the way adhered really, really strongly. Let's peel off this middle label and see what happens. It comes off in one piece pretty easily. I'm gonna pry up the corner on one of the cheap labels and see. Looks like it still came off in one piece. A little bit more adhesion, and then we're gonna try to pry up the Brother. Oh yeah, look at that, definitely on there. You can see the difference in adhesion. After these scientific label tests, in conclusion, Brother does make the best label. The adhesive is great, the label is thicker, it just feels like better quality, but it's so expensive, like it's not going to be economically feasible for any business at scale to be spending 17 cents a label versus spending 2.5. I would go with the cheapest one. I forget the exact name of this person that I bought it from. The Hydra labels were the worst. They sucked. I'm actually going to return mine. The guy that had them doesn't even have them in stock anymore. So hopefully he doesn't restock, because that supplier sucked. Those adhesive was terrible. If you're gonna be using the labels on polybags, you gotta be a lot less picky than if you're gonna be using labels on cardboard because of the adhesion. My jam test, I don't think that, the jam test definitely could be better. You're not really gonna be able to tell with 25 labels, but I had to show like some sort of printing demonstration. So I would say go with the cheapest labels. And it seems like the label companies like sell out all the time. So it really sucks to try to find one private labeled brand of labels that work and don't jam and that have good adhesion, and then they sell out and you gotta try another one. Your mileage really may vary. I will put a link to the cheapest ones that I found and used in this video in the description if you're interested in those. If you have any experience with certain brands jamming or ones working fine for you, please let me know about them in the comments section. As a community effort of recommending products, I think it's like more powerful than just me. So thank you everybody for watching. And if you haven't already, please give the video a thumbs up. I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.